on that map. Bay County is down at the other end. Our water, what we have looked at in the studies that have been done by the Water Management District, are suggesting that we're on the edge of where water is flowing actually to the north and not flowing to the south into the Econfina Basin. So we don't believe that we have any of the same water, and we are not concerned about ours as having an adverse impact. They're proposing to draw, in their permit, I think it's 30 million gallons a day is what their application is. We're 692,000 gallons a day. So the other thing that doesn't come into the factor here is that we're taking that water that we're drawing out, we're using it through our development. Everyone will be tied into the sewer system. No one will have individual wells. The water is treated at the wastewater plant. It is recharged back into the property by the use of irrigation. We will use 100% of our reclaimed water for irrigation. Now, it's not going to be enough. We're going to have to use water out of the ground in order to supplement that through the project. But there will be no individual wells by any of the properties on this. So when you look at 692,000 gallons a day, yeah, that doesn't even take into consideration what we're putting back. So when you look at the net impact, ours is a very small comparison, and the water that we're drawing from is actually from a different watershed. So we have no concern that we're going to have any impact on them, and at their draw at 30 million gallons a day, we're not concerned at all that they're going to have an adverse impact on us.
We're not worried about them.
I understand, but from our standpoint, we would be looking and say, if they're doing 30 million gallons a day, are we going to have enough? And we are not concerned.
That's my question.
I want to point out also that at this point in the planning process, it is not the consumptive use permitting process. We used for our calculation of our water demand the numbers that you use in your comprehensive plan. I doubt that the Water Management District will let us use anything that high because they require lots of conservation measures. So the 692 is on the high side of anything that we would expect them to allow us to use as our demand numbers. So just take that into consideration.
So that number didn't include the Water Star?
Oh, we have, I don't know, a dozen.
No, it
A
doesn't.
dozen conservation measures that the Regional Planning Council, Water Management District, DEP, and the design folks use, including not just rain sensors, you can't turn on your sprinklers. I mean, lots of things that aren't true of most of developed Florida right now. This is a state-of-the-art thing. Yes, sir.
Everyone's dropping a well around here, but nobody's going to hurt us. You know what I mean?
Well, one other aspect to look at about this is you cannot get a consumptive use permit, which is the basis for the challenge in Washington County of the Bay County permit, is because Washington County has asserted that that will injure their water supplies, and you can't get a permit if that is the case. And so that's what the challenge is about.
If I was a property owner in your subdivision, could I go get a well?
No,
what,
sir.
what would stop me not from doing a well?
The development order will not allow wells, and our restrictions for our property owners, people who buy property in there will have that as a restriction in their deeds. Right now.
And they can't put in a septic tank either.
Right now, in fact, one of the issues is that you have a 100,000 gallons a day limit without getting a consumptive use permit. So it wouldn't take very many people to use large parcels out on that 1,800 acres to far exceed the demand that we would have for water. Any other questions about that?
The 692, is that a final build out?
Yes. That's a build out. That's how you have to do the planning at the outset. You have to look at the whole thing.
Question. Are you correctly telling me that this 692,000 gallons a day will not in any way affect the springs feeding Econfina Creek? That's what I heard you, I thought I heard you
I
say.
thought we were going to respond. Do you have questions, or are you going to take questions from the audience?
I would like to take questions in order, if you don't mind. so that everyone can state their name for the record. So I will add you. Mr.
Right.
Foster.
I think his name's on there already.
Oh, is it?
I believe it is.
Oh, you are. Can you save your question for when you speak?
Well, it was really a statement from what was said. Is will your drawdown of the water in this area from the limestone caves in any way affect the springs that feed Econfiner Creek, which is the Bay County water supply? And the springs are most of the supply when during drought. I was just wondering.
You're not asking us, are you?
I don't know the answer.
Well, I'm
Keep looking
referring
up.
to you to bounce off an expert.
Okay, it's Ricochet.
Do you want us to take questions now, or do you want to like, you totally your
You can
engagement?
answer the question, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. We have, once we get our development order, we have to go through a rigorous process with the Water Management District to get our consumptive use permit. And we will have to address all issues that you raised and that other people have raised during the consumptive use process. And if we are unable to demonstrate that the minimum flow in the Econfina Creek that has been promised to Bay County through their agreement with the Water Management District heading to the reservoir can't be maintained, we simply won't be able to get our permit.
This is the same water management that is permitting the 10 wells in Bay County.
Would be the same Water Management
Thank you.
District, yes.
Any other questions about water before item 6? I did want to go over some of the transportation issues that have been raised over the several months that we've been talking to the county staff and the county commission in workshops. It is our goal, and has been from the very beginning of the project, to work with Bay County to obtain access to 231. And we have had meetings with them and conversations with them, and we've said to them, would they prefer that we would go straight out County Line Road, or would they prefer that we access 231 to Scott Road? We are continuing to have those conversations, and recently Bay County wrote to Washington County, and we are very glad that Washington County and Bay County will talk about it themselves. And we are encouraged that that dialogue will be taking place. In the meantime, though, Washington County has made it clear to us what they care about are the roads to the north and the west that are in Washington County. And they are enthusiastic about us working with Bay County for that access to 231, but they have asked us to concentrate on the roads that are in Washington County, and so we have done that. And so we have agreed that prior to the first plat, and we can't sell a lot unless we have a plat, and so we have said to, prior to the recording of the first plat, and this was not in our original development plan, so this is extra money for the development before they come out of ground on the first 500 units. They will pave C, which is this little segment here, D that goes here all the way up, E, and F. Those will give us, the point of that is to give us access to the existing paved roads going to the north and the west back into town, because it is expected that there will be a lot of traffic for the first folks going that way, particularly if this is not an agreement to pave this one, which is County Line Road out to, B, which is to the existing paving on County Line Road. If we are unable to get that agreement with Bay County, we'll keep trying in phase 1B. If we can get that agreement to do this segment in the first phase, great. We'll do this one at the second phase. But if we can't get that agreement from Bay County,